What is up, everybody? Welcome. It is Mad Mocking After Dark, part of the Fantasy and Frames Network. I am your host, Jay. You can find me over at FantasyJ77 on Twitter. I am joined tonight by our new and permanent co-host, Kyle, who you can find at KZ1180 over there on Twitter. Kyle, my man, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm live on the road here. I am in Baltimore, Washington on the road. So forgive me if the air conditioning turns on, turns off. But I'm on the road in Baltimore ready to get this thing going.
Well, I mean, if the air turns on, I don't think very many people like me would be mad that the air turns on, being like it's 99 with 120% humidity here in the South, where you and I will be in a matter of a mere 4 days.
I know. I'm excited. And I have to hold the microphone up like Draymond Green. If you watch his podcast, he holds his microphone up. That's me tonight, but that's all right. I'll be back home.
You are Draymond Green
tomorrow.
Well, you know what? We have talked about doing this little thing. So I want to know, what are you drinking right now?
I am drinking an IPA called Goon Squad. You know anything about that?
I have heard of Goon Squad. I would love to hear in the chat how people think about Goon Squad. But hang on one second, Kyle, because here's what I'm doing. I'm going to drink it's a light beer, but it's a beer that I got down in Turks and Caicos. It's called I Soon Reach. So tonight I want to start something that you and I have talked about doing, and let's do the pop.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a beautiful
good, right? All right. So for tonight, I wanted to change up a little bit. But a mocking after dark without a mock is absolutely dumb. So we had to do one more SFB mock before the live draft start this week. I think Buffalo is actually starting on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, the 6th. I could be wrong, but we are both in Orlando on the 8th. I know the 9th has, Washington starting on the 9th. There's a couple others that are going on this week. For some reason, Chicago got bumped back. You know, they were the first one to go last year live. And now this year, they actually get to sit back and watch like 6 or 7 live drafts go off before they even start theirs, which bonus to them. So great job there for them. But so I wanted to give the people our thoughts on how we build the rosters, or at least give them a little bit of our thoughts. Are you good with that tonight?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so let's go ahead and start this mock. I'm going to be sitting in the 3 spot because Kyle sniped me real quick getting into that 4 spot.
I did.
So let's. Oh, you got to turn the volumes off again. Yes, there we go. Volumes are off. There we go. But I did pose this question as far as getting questions into the.
Is that you or me?
Yeah, no, that's me. I've got 2 windows open, and one of them I did not close down. As far as the sound, I posed the question into the sleeper chat that we got, and one of the questions that we got back was, aside from tight end 1, which assuming that's going to be Travis Kelce, right? Who or what position group is going to be the next most advantageous in the first round? And I think it's going to be quarterback. But what are your immediate thoughts?
Yeah, it has to be quarterback. If it's not Travis Kelce, it's quarterback after that.
Yeah, and then so my next question would be the points per carry. Maybe not early in this first round, but that 7, maybe that 9, 10, 11, maybe even that 1-2 turn. Is that where you're looking at the first running back coming off the board, and are you looking at double stacking running backs right there and just trying to capitalize on that? I know, again, we're sitting up earlier in the draft, but is that what you're anticipating, happening both in the live drafts and in the slow drafts?
Yeah, like if I was at 10, 11, or 12, and if McCaffrey's sitting there and you got the 7, 8 quarterbacks, maybe 9 off the board, I'm going McCaffrey there, and then coming back with a quarterback, because then you still get a top quarterback at that spot. So you start with McCaffrey and then still like a top 10 quarterback potentially.
Yeah, because you got that third round reversal coming right back to you, right? So you're getting 3 of the top 25 players, you would think, at least.
And I do think that you need to get at least 1 in the first 2 rounds if you're sitting in the back half there.
When you say you need to get one of the first in the first
two
two
rounds, yeah, first two rounds, you need to grab at least one
quarterback or running back, or who do you have to get there?
I'm thinking quarterback. If you're 10, 11, and 12, you got to get at least one, whether it be the first round or second round.
So, Jamie, I believe I'm not sure 100% on where you're going to be able to watch all of them, but I know for watching the live drafts, I think the Going for Two Discord has a few of those in there already. I think Jeff's working on getting a few more. This guy sucks with Chuck Base. Punt QB if you're at the end, and I'm assuming he's saying if you're at the end of the first round. And I would love to hear the thought process there. Are you punting QB because you have that third round reversal? It's at the thought process there?
That is a potential strategy there. You could actually do that because you can still find a serviceable quarterback after the third round reversal.
Yeah, and I think there's plenty of quarterbacks because of the negatives or the no negative scoring rather that you're going to be able to find quarterbacks that last year you would whether it be interception, whether it be interception for touchdowns, whatever. None of that counts this year as far as the Scott Fishbowl scoring. I think this year you're going to be able to find even rookie quarterbacks that you're going to have the opportunity with that aren't going to hurt your team.
Yeah, as long as it's not your number one, I would feel more comfortable if I had one of those rookies as my two, unless maybe it is Anthony Richardson. But other than that, if you're looking at rookie quarterbacks like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, I would be more comfortable with them as my QB2 than QB1, me personally.
Yeah, so we've run a 189 mocks. This is 190 right here, but we've run 189 mocks in the, I guess I should say 188 mocks because mock 100 we had a show on that and had a bunch of big names in it. The group was not involved as much in that one there, but we've had 188 mocks, and the thought process of taking a quarterback in the 5th or 6th round, just to me is scary. What do you? I mean, Kyle.
As are you talking about like if that's your first quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what he's saying here.
You can find if he's your QB2 in the 5th, 6th, it's not that scary in my opinion.
Well, no, QB2, no. But what he's saying is,
QB1, yeah, that
punt QB.
Yeah, that makes me nervous.
Take him in the 5th or 6th. I mean, what are you thinking there? You're looking at like possibly even a CJ Stroud or, a Trey Lance, which we don't know anything about. Who are you looking at in the 5th there? That would be the scary one for me, Chuck.
When we get there, we'll be able to maybe revisit this and see what we're looking at 5th, 6th round.
Yeah. So here's what I'll do is I'll star that. So we'll make sure we come back to that one there and see what he's got there. What's he say here? He says, you can't give your opponent, you're on the clock, so you can't give your opponents at the front of chance to match you at skill spots, but also having a superior. I mean, I get what you're saying there. Absolutely. And hello, Albert. Thank you for joining us tonight. I get what you're saying there, Chuck. But what you're doing at that 12 spot, I think, is exactly what I would be doing at that 12 spot. And I'm just going to capitalize on every bit of the. But I think you're still coming back at the 3rd round, and you're still going to be capable of getting a top probably 12, depending on play. Whether it be. I'm going to go ahead and take one of them right now, and I'm just not even going to play. I'm reaching on this guy here because I just want the rushing upside, and that's Daniel Jones. I know it's maybe a reach in the 2nd. I don't care. I don't.
Yeah, if that's the guy you want, go get him.
Yeah. There's other guys. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get a rushing quarterback back, coming in this week 10.
Because of the 3rd round reversal, he's going to be gone. Any other one, anyone else.
Chuck is just going to kill us at that 12 spot with taking the running backs. I really want to see how his build's going to be with the thought process of taking the first quarterback in the 5th or 6th round there. I don't hate it so far. I mean, Taylor, Barkley, and Chubb at the 12. You can't hate that, right?
No, he's going to need a tight end too, though, with this tight end premium. But and receivers for that. But receivers are pretty deep, so I'm just curious to see what he's looking at. I'm really anxious to see where he's going to go at quarterback when we get to the 5th, 6th round for his QB1, QB2.
I don't know if you can really sweat the tight ends right now, though, because I mean, through 2.5 rounds, and I know it's going to be a whole nother round before he picks again. But even D-Ben 13 there is sitting at the 9 spot again, going three running backs. You got Gatorators at the 11 spot, going 3 wide receivers. Yeah, I don't know that the tight end is going to be so pressing because there's only 2 of them off the board, and we're 2.5 rounds.
And I might even be a little bit out of my comfort zone because every time I do these mocks with you, sitting at 4, I like 90% of the time, Travis Kelce's there for me. So this is actually, I'm kind of glad that Kelce's not there for me because now I get to see what it looks like with a Josh Allen build. Because if I don't get Kelce, pretty much that's who I'm looking at is Josh Allen.
Yeah, and I love the stack of Josh Allen and Diggs that you did there. And I could have had the same thing with AJ Brown, but I think there's more opportunity. At least I'm going to try it anyway and see. I think there's more opportunity to stack later and get more bang for my buck at that 2 spot.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't want to say any names, but
yeah, exactly. If I'm sitting at that 4 spot, it's going to be hard to pass up the Allen Diggs, the Allen Diggs stack. So you got the 4th tight end coming off the board being Kyle Pitts. Of course, Travis Kelce at the 1-2. You had Andrews go at 2-3, Hawkinson at 3-6, and then Kyle Pitts at 3-7. You are now on the clock. Talk us through your process here at 3-9 with what you have and what's off the board.
All right, so I like my stack with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Running backs, I'm not too fond right here. With the 3rd round reversal in mind, I'm thinking receivers are pretty deep, so I'm going to pass on that. And I'm going to go with George Kittle here. I know it's a bit early, but I really want me to get a tight end. Like that in this kind of format, that's what I want. I want to make sure I solidify me at least a top 5 tight end.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but that's what I'm going with right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I would rather have the I mean, it's Kelce and then everybody else. I think it's Kelce and then Andrews and then everybody else. I went ahead and took Najee Harris. Again, this is all about volume. I think there's the upgrades that Pittsburgh did on the offensive line. I think he's just going to get the ball, and they're going to continue to hammer him with the ball.
And that is something I could have went to. Looking at it now, Najee wouldn't be that bad. I got to get. Drew mentioned it a few weeks ago with the tight end mindset when he does redraft. Mm-hmm. And usually my strategy is with running backs, I tend to try to grab one late and do the 0 RB strategy. It's just generally what I do. So I need to be like Drew and get out of that mindset with Scott Fishbowl and grab me somebody like a Najee Harris if I have to. Get that bell cow, get the guy who's going to get carries because they are important in that type of format.
Yeah, and I'm dealing with a decision right here. I've got 2 other running backs that I'm looking at. One of them I think is going to get a lot of work. The other one I think might get a lot of work. I mean, they're both. It's so hard. Golly, it's so hard to figure this out. But I'm actually going to pivot over. I'm going to go ahead and take my wide receiver 1 right here. I'm going to go ahead and get Chris Olave and hope and just pray that I can just hammer the running back later on. Because again, in this format, you have to start 3 wide receivers, right? And that's a big.
That's big. Yeah.
You can't start 3 wide receiver 3s. I mean, you can't start 3 of them outside of the top 30. It's not going to be beneficial at all. Real quick, I want to say thank you, Corey, for jumping into so many mocks. Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Appreciate you jumping on tonight. Jonathan's got a question for us right here. Go ahead and make your pick. I'll read out the question, and then we'll come back to your thought process here in a second. But what's up, fellas? Kelsey and Andrews and a top 6 QB on the block, or I'm guessing he's meaning on the clock. Are you going Herbert at 109, or is it JJ or Chase? Jonathan, I'm wondering, are you talking about in a redraft draft here? Kelsey, Andrews, top 6 quarterbacks are off the board, so you're at pick 9. Are you taking Herbert, JJ, or are you taking Chase? You know what? Let's do it like this. Let's do it in this format because I think that's what he's meaning now. Scott Fishbowl, you're picking at the 9 hole, right? So top 6 quarterbacks off the board. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somebody.
So Herbert's off the board then, right?
Well,
he's top
6,
right?
but if he's put Herbert or put Fields in place of Herbert, and then Kelsey up there, so he's sitting at the 9 spot. His choices are Herbert, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Which one of those 3 are you taking in this format?
I think off the top of my head, I would go Herbert at 9. I know you're not going to probably get JJ or Chase, but you might. You know, you never know. I've seen it happen. But the wide receivers are so deep that I would feel more comfortable grabbing a Justin Herbert, and then maybe I don't get Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, but I can get somebody good at the wide receiver position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's the quarterback you're taking right there. I just don't know that you're going to be able to, later in the like Chuck's alluding to earlier. I don't know that you can get the points with that. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks that are off the board right now, right? If you don't take a Justin Herbert, you're looking at a Kirk Cousins, an Aaron Rodgers, something.
And those are all fine. Those are all safe plays.
They're safe, right? But you're not going to Geno Smith, safe play, but it's not going to win you anything in this, right? At all,
right?
And
so you too would go Herbert.
Absolutely.
There at 9.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you have to differentiate yourself, but at the same time, you're not going to do, a ton of differentiating in the first round. It's that 3rd round, that 4th round that where I think is where you got to, we talked about this a little earlier. You're going to have to reach a little bit, but reach responsibly, as they say. It's, you're not going to be reaching 4 rounds. Reach a round and a half. Don't go and reach for, Breece Hall in the first round or a Tony Pollard in the first round.
Right. No, that makes total sense. If you're not going to get a guy, 7, 8, 9 picks later, go get him. Yeah, definitely. If you believe in him, get him because you're not going to get him coming back.
Right. And there's everybody's talking about these players. So you're not going to be able to, if you think that at this pick coming up right now, so for instance, let's talk about your 5-9 coming up. If you think the guy that you want right now is going to get back to you, and literally you're only talking about 6 picks between your next pick and the following pick, you have to go get him now. You're damn sure not going to be able to sit there at 6-4 and think, okay, well, maybe he'll come back to me in, whatever it is, 12 picks, 15 picks. He's not coming back to you then.
Right.
So go get him now. But you're not going to go and get you're not going to reach 2 rounds. That's where I think you're going to make the mistake.
Yeah, and I'm feeling the pressure right here with my pick coming up. And I feel like Nate right now, Nate always hates this kind of area right here. It's like, this is like the reach zone right here. I see a guy, I got to take him. I don't know. Let me think.
Well, I mean, talk it out. Yeah. I mean, I'm right behind you, so don't talk it out too loud. But, tell me what you're thinking.
I don't know what I'm thinking. I could use another receiver here. The running backs, I I just want to keep passing on. I know they're going, but I just feel like I can get, because you only have to start one or two, Gator.
Two.
Which was it? One?
It's two.
Two.
Yeah, so
Well,
it's one quarterback, two running back, three wide
yeah.
receiver.
I feel like with the running back, I can wait. I like some running backs later. I obviously won't disclose it here, but
Right.
there's some running backs when nobody else will be picking running backs. I feel like I can grab the ones that I want. And with the three wide receivers that you have to start, I'll go Amari Cooper here. I don't know if he would come back to me, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I don't know that he would either. And I like that pick. There was a guy I was looking at there that I think might get back to me as well, but I'm going to go ahead and stack Dallas Goedert there with my.
There you go. I
one.
like that little Eagle stack.
Yeah, get him at the 5'10 there. What's going on, Anthony? Appreciate you checking in with us. Mr. Scampers is in the house. We
Love
have
you
the
for Mr.
cat.
Scampers.
We
He's
have
back.
the cat. He's back. So, you're sitting there with no running back. Like you said, you like some of these later running backs. So the point per carry bonus, the 0.25, does not really, I guess, resonate with you.
I mean, it does, but there are some. I might be looking at one right now. I don't want to mention it, but there is a bell cow available that I would happily take if he falls to me here in three picks.
He's not going to fall to you, though. That's the problem, and that's
he might.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, look, you got the guy who's picking now has two running backs already.
Yeah,
you have one, so you might be looking at the same one that I'm looking at,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay. There's another one that I could happily take.
Well, look at there. You got a hello. Anthony saying, "What's up?"
Appreciate that, Anthony. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's go through these first. Let's see, 5 rounds. First 5 rounds. Team 1 has only the one quarterback, but 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver. Team 2, sitting there, 2 running backs, 1 quarterback, but he's got Kelsey. Myself, two quarterbacks. I went ahead and tapped those off. Be done, and I don't have to worry about a quarterback for a while. The one thing I haven't looked at, to be quite honest, is both of these quarterbacks are in the same division. So I have not looked at bye weeks. So that might be something a little bit of concern for those two. May have to go back and look at those again. You're sitting there, of course, the same thing. Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're. I haven't looked at that. I think when it comes down to the actual, when we're there at the live Scott Fishbowl draft, then I might take a peek. Let me see. Do these guys have the same bye week? Because that would be not a good feeling, knowing that both of my star quarterbacks do have the same bye week, and then I have to start thinking about another one. But hopefully they don't. But that is something to consider when you're actually doing your draft. To your first 2, QB1, QB2. Yeah, that's not something you're going to be happy about if they do have the same bye week.
Well, I know I just sniped you right there because I know that's where you were thinking. But Calvin Ridley is definitely the pick there for me. Just again, going back to having to start 3 wide receivers. And I do believe he's going to see 110, 130 targets, somewhere in that range, in that Jacksonville offense. So you were talking about a running back, your last pick, and thought he would get back to you, possibly, a bell cow. Is he still there?
He is, and I'm going to make the pick.
And it is Aaron Jones. Oh!
No, it's Joe Mixon.
Here's my problem with Joe Mixon.
All right, talk to me.
With the points that he made last year, I think he was 38 to 42%.
And look at that running back run. I'm glad I grabbed one at least.
Yeah. But all that 38 to 42% of his total points last year came in one game, that 51-point game. It was an insane amount. He was just not efficient at all last year. And maybe that was because Samaje was there. Maybe it was because of the injury, whatever. And we still don't know what's happening, with the question marks with his legal stuff.
True. That is true. But I haven't heard much about that. And they did draft a young kid too.
And that scares me the more that you didn't even hear about it, that you haven't heard about it. Because remember, we've got a couple others that you haven't heard about, legal situations. They were sitting there, and they are falling down the board because, we don't know.
Yeah, and our actual draft is coming up here next week. So
Saturday,
I really need to follow up on that to make sure that, Mixon's going to be in the clear, because if it's still a cloud hanging over his head, that could make me nervous come draft day.
Well, and that leads me to one of the questions from the.
And maybe I would go Alexander Madison, somebody more safer than a Joe Mixon.
Okay. Well, that leads me to a question that was brought up earlier when it comes to these running backs. When you're looking at drafting running backs that are still free agents, like a Cook, a Zeke, playoff Lenny. I mean, where are you looking at those, or are you just completely pivoting off of those?
Yeah, playoff Lenny. I don't know I'm glad he's okay from his car accident. I don't know if you saw that. But I would go. I like you. We've talked about it before in the past weeks or two. I like Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I would comfortably draft Dalvin Cook. Not this round, but maybe round 8, maybe 7. He usually hangs around there. So right now, if he's still there, come the Scott Fishbowl draft, I would comfortably draft Dalvin Cook, because he's going to go somewhere, and he gets to choose where he wants to go. So he's going to choose somewhere that he feels is best for him.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all about, I don't even think it's about the money at this point. I think it's about getting the ring. And I think that's what he's yeah, and I'm with you, Fantasy Zip. I'm taking Jones over Mixon, probably 100% of the time. And that's where I thought you were looking at Jones right there. Just because I think that's going to be just the situation alone. I don't think Green Bay is wanting to give A.J. Dillon the reins, and with a rookie quarterback coming in, I say rookie, with a non-seasoned quarterback in Jordan Love coming in there, I think you're going to see a lot of Aaron Jones going into this year. Anthony, yes, that 51-point game counted for most of it, plus not wanting him to restructure his contract, legal issues, Chase Brown. There's so many things that are not in the Joe Mixon. And listen, hold up. I'm sorry, Kyle. I have to.
No. I might have had too many goon squads tonight.
No, I got to get on the chat here for a second. Listen, I can get on Kyle. Okay, I'm allowed to do that. I'm here with him. You guys cannot. You're not allowed to just beat up on my co-host. That's not.
They can do it. They can do it, because you know what? I might have had 3 too many beers tonight, so it's okay. We'll blame it on the goon squad.
We'll blame it on the goon squad. There you go. Is that what we're going to call the chat from now on?
They are 9.8%.
Maybe we can just call the chat the goon squad from now on.
I'm going to rebound from that pick, though. Like I'm not confident in that Joe Mixon pick, so I'm going to rebound from it. I'll turn it around. I'll get these guys on my side here.
Oh, you're going to get the goon squad back on your side.
That's what I'm going to try to do. Look at this running back run right now.
You're not doing it with a running back. That's exactly right. This is why we mock.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. This is why we mock.
Yep, we learn from Kyle's mistakes. Yep.
Exactly.
Correct.
And we learn from your mistakes. They got onto you too.
Listen, I haven't made those mistakes in a long time. It's been 6 weeks. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is rapidly declining. He has had he had 1,200 yards, but should have been 1,500 if he didn't lose a step. I don't know that he lost a step there, Jamie. I think it was the shoulder injury a little bit. I think it was also, them being more of a passing offense. Listen, I'm not out on Dalvin Cook at all. I think the only thing that's making him drop right now, at least in my opinion, is not having a team.
Yeah, we don't know where he is.
I mean, if he lands, just throw it out there. If he lands in Dallas, are you drafting him? What round are you looking at drafting him in if he's in Dallas?
Oh, man, Dallas with Tony Pollard, that makes me really nervous. I tell you, I would draft him probably a round or 2 later than if he was in Miami.
Okay. What if he's up there in with New York in the Jets?
Gosh, that makes me nervous too.
What if it goes to LA? To the
I mean,
Rams?
I don't know.
Or to the
Man,
Could you imagine him and Eckler in the same backfield? I mean, it would fantasy value wise, it would kill both of their values. I think.
yeah, it would. I wouldn't even know.
That
Both of them would be on the decline, wouldn't it? Like
yeah,
Eckler would no longer be a first round pick.
that was a bad example. That was horrible. That was bad on my part. I'm sorry. It's bad. It's
That's
just
all right. It's all fun. It's all fun.
Kyle, what's the thought process coming up right here? You got a couple listeners that are actually listening to what you're doing 2 picks from now.
And they're not happy about my running back selection. So
selection.
Do I rebound from that?
I think you just let them keep. I think you just piss them off some more. I think
choose like another horrible running back. I'm
off.
thinking I definitely need a wide receiver or running back. So I guess I will go here like best player available for me, in my opinion. Running back or receiver is probably what I will target. There's been a lot of running backs taking here in the last 2 rounds, so I'll probably shift to a receiver because they are pretty deep, and I like a lot of them here. So I'll probably be looking. There goes Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
So I'll probably be looking at receiver here, round out my starting core here with Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, and somebody.
Yeah, his brother went right behind him right there.
Yeah, there you go. You know what? I'm very happy with the Jerry Jeudy right here. That's my third receiver. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say you sniped me because I probably would have tried to get him on the wraparound, but yeah, I do not hate that. Man, now you put me in a pickle here. I'm gonna go all upside right here. I think this is where I'm gonna start looking at just going upside, and just with what he did in 5 games last year, hopefully he can have that same magic with Jordan Love, and Christian Watson can absolutely, I know we only had 7 touchdowns in like 4 games or whatever it was, insane, but hopefully that magic doesn't go away, and the talent shows through.
No, I mean, for this late in the draft, I mean, you got yourself a number 1 as your third receiver, so you can't be upset about that.
Well, I got 3 number 1s.
There you go. Yeah, even better.
Allegedly, right now, anyway.
And I feel like this is the area where there is a wide receiver run, and we're seeing one right now with 5 in a row gone. I've seen this in mock drafts where it's like 6, 7 rounds. Like you'll see a run on receivers. So that's why I like to get my third one when I can, because the run will come.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming up to my pick now, so I guess I'll talk you through my process here. Man, we're back to that running back spot. Or do I grab my 4th wide receiver for depth? Since I've been striking out on running back and the receivers are deeper, maybe I grab a better receiver to stash away for. Let's see.
Here's what I've noticed is I'm on the clock right now. Here's what I have noticed, at least to this point, and I'm just trying to look over the board real quick. Other than the James or the Jamal Williams, really, there's not been a ton of super crazy picks as far as the running back position goes. But I'm still seeing, 1, 2, 3. I'm still seeing like 4, maybe even 5 starting running backs that are still on the board. So the thought process of pushing them down the board does not. I don't hate it now. I don't.
See, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I'm looking at my team right now, and I'm probably going to make a pick where the chat room's probably going to be like, really? Again? So I'm going to take a 3rd quarterback here because I don't know if I can fully trust Tua. And I don't know if Jordan Love is going to come back to me, okay? So this is where we talked about earlier, where you take a guy that you want and that you feel good about, that you just take now because you don't know if he's going to get back to you. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jordan Love here. So now I feel comfortable with my quarterback positions with Tua's, serious health questions. I don't know. Like, is he one hit away from never playing again in the NFL? I want to grab myself a startable quarterback in case that were to happen.
So my question to you, and there's a couple questions in the chat I will get to here in just a quick second. But my question to you would be, we're starting, what is that, 11 counting the kicker, or is it 10 and plus a kicker? I don't remember. I think it's let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 10 plus a kicker. So out of 10 starters, not counting the kickers, there would be 11. You were in the 8th round and you just took your third quarterback. Somebody from your first 8 picks is sitting the bench every week. That's something that I just don't know that I would be comfortable doing when there's the value on the board. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I'm comfortable sitting Jordan Love for Tua if he's healthy. So it's more of like an insurance policy because I'm not confident in Bryce Young. He looked good in college, but what's he going to look like in the NFL with his receivers? Kyler Murray, is he going to play? I don't know. Maybe Matthew Stafford, but he had his own back problems too. So Sam Howell went after Jordan Love. What do you think of that?
I love the Sam Howell pick. Actually, I'm actually all in on Sam Howell. The part that makes me mad about that is he's a third quarterback off the board in the same round. I really thought that he would get to somewhere in that 10-11 range. But E.L. Jeffy, nice job there. Sam Howell is with that offense, I think is going to be very, very good. Let me get this other board scrolled a little bit so everybody can see. And so I like the Sam Howell pick. William's got a quick question here. We aren't there yet in the majority of cases, but how important are handcuffs in your previous SFB experience?
Well, this will have to be you because this is my first Scott Fishbowl experience. You've played in more than one.
Well, this will be my second. And handcuffs are.
I'm a rookie.
Handcuffs are important. Let's see what Ben Eby's got to say here. I think trying to predict the role that will grow as the season goes on is huge. Whether taking that guy behind an injury-prone player or a young guy is the opportunity to earn snaps. I think that's what you have to look at is who's got the opportunity to earn snaps. If you look at something like, let's take Seattle, for instance. The coach speak is what it is. But you've got Charbonnet and you've got Kenneth Walker. I think it's going to be a 50-50, snap share-ish kind of a deal. When you looked at what Kenneth Walker did last year, yes, it was great, but he was not so good in pass pro, right? Well, Zach Charbonnet's proven that he can do that in pass pro, both at Michigan and at UCLA, and he's a damn good pass catcher. So, he may see the third down snaps to start the year, but he could see a growth in role, throughout the year. And I think when we're looking at, that week 15, week 16, when we get, 14, 15, 16, somewhere in that range, when we get into these playoffs, those are going to be players that, again, going back to that differentiating yourself from other players, you may get this guy in the 11th round or 12th round that you're not going to actually start until the playoffs start. And then now you have the opportunity to differentiate yourself from the other teams. The one thing I think that is important to remember, too, is when it comes to the playoffs, you take the average score for your week, for your weekly score, and that gets added to your playoffs, weekly score. So keep that in the back of your mind. You don't want to be the back end because there's been so many good teams that were, good teams going into the playoffs or, in the playoffs, but their average score for the year wasn't great. So when that got added, they were out of the playoffs pretty quick. But yeah, so having the handcuff is not a bad thing, but you have to be damn good at predicting. I'm not going to say injury, but you have to be damn good at predicting what snap share and what the role is going to be.
Yeah, and that can be really hard.
Absolutely, it can be. Absolutely can be. But you got to look at what they did in college. What the incumbent is doing. Or what they did the previous year, kind of a thing. You look at, for instance, you look at what I've just used Tampa because I'm a huge Tampa fan. You look at what Rachaad White did so good in college, and that was pass pro. He turned out to be a damn good runner as well, right? And Leonard Fournette was a damn good pass catcher, but he was on pass pro. He didn't like blocking. He liked hitting. He didn't like blocking. So that's where Rachaad White, in my opinion, became more valuable.
All right, Gator, you're up on the clock now. What is your thought process looking at what you got going on?
No clue at all. Here's I keep going back when I'm in this range. I'm like, man, I'm covered at my wide receiver position. I've got at least my starting running backs. At this point, now I want to try to reach a little bit. I want to try to capitalize on scoring and what I think is going to be the right players that are going to get me to the next level. And I think right here, Dalton Schultz as a tight end with a rookie quarterback is going to be somebody that is relied on. We saw it a couple years ago when he was in Dallas. Very reliable pass catcher, not just for first downs, but just overall touchdowns, everything. And Dalton Schultz at the 9-10 spot there. I don't know what he's coming off on the board here, but wide or tight end, 11, 12, somewhere in that range. When you've got, 2 points basically for receptions, you add in a touchdown. I mean, if he gets a 22-yard touchdown, what's that, like 13 points?
Yeah, it's sick.
It's insane. And that's what Dalton Schultz is known to do. So
and you got yourself a rookie quarterback who usually tends to target tight ends. So yeah, I like that spot for you with Dalton.
And I think that's exactly the same thought process wrapping right back around. And I could see very easily being in this position, but at the 4 spot where, when it gets to this 8, 9, 10, 11 rounds, somewhere in that mid-round range, where I'm just hammering tight end. And it's all about upside and it's all about capitalizing on points. So I'm going to do it again. And I'm just going to, going to continue to capitalize on points. I think there's going to be something there. Dolchich did a great job last year before he got injured. I think Russell Wilson with this new offense, when you think about what Russell Wilson's walking into with the new offensive, the mindset is, think about a few years ago when you had, I can't even think of his dang name. He's so old now. When he came into see New Orleans, and he just peppered the tight ends. Oh my goodness, Drew Brees. When he just peppered the tight ends, give me that. If you can get 12 targets, 9 catches a game, it's 18 points just on catches, let alone the first downs.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you're stacking up on good tight ends now. But it leads me to a question for you. We talked about when you have guys like this, who's going to be on your bench?
Well, that's the thing is, though, but I can use them into my flex. So I don't have to have any 3 of them. I've got Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, and Greg Dulcich. I can play all 3 of them.
You can
with the flex positions. So now I've rounded out my starting lineup. My starting lineup right now is Jalen Hurts, Najee Harris, Samaje Perine, Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley, Christian Watson, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, Greg Dulcich, and then Daniel Jones as my super flex. I don't hate it right now. I'm actually thinking that I should have taken 3 because, the way you're drafting, you're killing me. No, I'm playing. You know that. But no, I don't hate it because the first thing everybody will tell you when you walk into any league is know the scoring. right? Know the scoring first of all. Second thing is know your league mates. Well, Scott Fishbowl, you're not allowed to know your league mates until, at least for the most part, until you get into your division and you got everybody there. Plus, it's a big ass tournament.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to know the scoring, and that the scoring is what's ultimately going to get you there. And a lot of luck, right? Everything's gotta fall right. Oh, God damn it. Chuck, I love that Desmond Ritter pick right there. I think and he stacked him with London as well. So I think that was a great pick, by the way.
Yeah. And it's his QB2.
It is his QB2.
Yeah, I like what he did there.
Yeah. All right, Chuck, you've talked me into it. I like it. Good job.
Yep, for sure. And I like the tight end he got too, Darren Waller.
Yeah, well, I don't want to listen. We don't need to give Chuck too much credit.
All right. I'll lay off it.
Yeah,
Props to Chuck. Good job.
I do want to bring up Mr. Scamper's thing right here. He said he likes what Delhi's done at the 2 spot there. Let's look at Delhi's team right here. Travis Kelce, Derrick Henry, Dak Prescott, Devontae Adams, Kenneth Walker, Derek Carr, Brandon Ayuk.
My question is, I'm not a big predictor, but is this the year that Derrick Henry hits a wall? I know people said it last year and he made people pay, but now he's another year older, more tread on the tires. Could we see the arrow pointing down on Derrick Henry this year?
I mean, can you see the arrow pointing down on Travis Kelce? I mean, that's just a question I'm asking. I'm asking for a friend.
Valid point.
I mean,
But he's a running back. Derrick Henry's a running back, and he got used and abused.
As long as they play Houston 3 times a year, 4 times a year, he's fine.
Well, yeah, that's true too. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let me see what I got going on here.
Love the Laporta pick there, by the way. I think that's going to get a lot of use. And then, yes, Mike Evans in the 9th. I think that is Scamper's. I would love to hear Scamper's thought on this. Whether it's Baker Mayfield or whether it is Kyle Trask, it doesn't matter to me.
Type it in, Scampers.
The Mike Evans scares me this year, and the reason it scares me because I do believe it's going to be Baker Mayfield to at least start the year. Baker Mayfield on the outside sucks, but Chris Godwin, who was picked in the same round, whatever 11 picks before him, runs those between the numbers routes covered by Mayfield. At least that's the way I can see it. I would love to hear what Scampers thinks about the Mike Evans 9th round over, or with Baker Mayfield, with what he's got as his, I'm not going to say his capabilities, but at least what he has proven. I don't know about the Jamal Williams pick right there. I don't know about that.
You're questioning that too?
Yeah, I'm going to question that just because I can.
Well, I got a player profile coming out on Jamal Williams in the next month, so I'll have more information on him. But from my early research on Jamal Williams, I think he's got another year in him. I mean, you saw what he did last year. You got Alvin Kamara facing some, his own.
You listen. I'm not
going to have a starter now. Joe Mixon is all of a sudden a bust, like everybody thinks he is. So, I mean, at least I'll have Jamal Williams if that's the case for, I don't know, 4, 5, maybe 6 games. Who knows?
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to disagree with you on is because I don't think New Orleans is going to be within the 2-yard line as many times as Detroit was last year. So he's not going to be able to get those 2 yards and be quote unquote as efficient as he was last year with 77 touchdowns or whatever the hell he had.
Yeah,
17, I think
17 maybe.
Yeah, I think there's another running back on that team that might actually be a little bit more valuable later on.
Okay. The rookie?
Yeah, I'm not going to say he's a rookie. I'm not going to listen. Stop trying to get in my head. But Dalton Kincaid there at the 11 forward deli right there with as we were talking about with Mike Evans, Damian Harris, and then Dalton Kincaid there, and then turns right around and gets it's Garoppolo. Scampers, I would love to hear what Scampers has to say after these last, I don't know, 3 picks or so, 4 picks. He said he liked Deli's team. I don't know. I want to see what he likes it now. Oh, shoot, I'm back on the clock.
Yeah, so what are you thinking right now? It looks like you're maybe a little bit thin at running back with Harris and P. Ryan.
Yeah, but as I look down the running back,
solid at tight end. You got your 2 stud quarterbacks. You're set at wide receiver. What are you thinking right now? Are you thinking about your running back position because you feel maybe a little thin?
No, I'm probably, and I guess I probably should be, but I'm not because the running backs are so deep right now. At least I think they are. I mean, we've got another 10 rounds, and I can probably. Oh, hang on 1 second. Let me see if I can.
Did you do what I think you did?
I did by accident. So
you fixed it. Look at that. That's the joy of being a commissioner.
That's the joy of being. I think there's plenty of running backs down the board that I'm comfortable with the starters that I have. I'm going to take a reach right here and see what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and get my third QB if it will allow me. Maybe it will. Oh, shoot. All right, let's see if it'll resume, and then I can pick. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this third QB. It's a dart throw for sure with Trey Lance. We don't know what's going to happen. But again, going back to what I think can be the rushing upside in the 12th round, I'll take it. I'll take it over. I think he's going to be the starter. Should be the starter. Because they didn't trade him. They gave up a ton of picks for him. He should be. We shall see. But the rushing upside, I think, is what is pushing me over the edge. Again, and this no negative scoring.
So I'm thinking the opposite of you. You mentioned that you like the running backs later on. I actually like the receivers later on, which led me to go ahead and take Brian Robinson there. I feel a little bit thin at running back. I'm still mulling over my Joe Mixon pick. So maybe I'm just kind of stressing over that, and I'm like making sure I get 2 other ones that just in case I am wrong on that I have somebody. But I do like receivers later on. I don't want to mention any names, but this receiver core deep. I like some later on, and I'll show you later. We'll see.
I want to go back to the question I posed to Scampers, and he's treating Evans and Godwin situation similar to the way he treated DK and Lockett last year. Faded them way too far. Mm-hmm. They performed. The values this season are being baked in. So I do agree. I do agree with that. When I'm looking at Mike Evans, I'm looking at Mike Evans 1,000 yards, whatever it is, 16 or 9 touchdowns or whatever that he's absolutely done just about every single year. Yeah. I just don't see it this year if Baker Mayfield is the starter the whole year.
It's a shame how he just always gets questioned.
Mike Evans. Yeah,
all he does is get you 1,000 yards, no matter who his quarterback is.
1,000 yards, 8 TDs. 1,000 yards, 8 TDs.
He's going to do it.
What?
But every year is he going to do it?
Well, I mean, if you remember a few years ago when Tom Brady first got there, that question came up.
Yeah, because of his age, because of Brady's age.
Yeah. And
he just keeps churning out 1,000 yards. I mean, he did it with Josh Freeman, didn't he?
Yes, that was his first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He don't hold me to this, but he may be the only receiver that his rookie year to his current year has had 1,000 yards every single year.
And he's always being questioned.
But
that's okay.
It's somebody's got to have a chip on the shoulder all the time. And listen, as a Tampa fan, I don't mind it.
We'll see what Baker can do. I mean, listen, I don't know if he's really had a guy like Mike Evans.
Well, and I posed that question a couple weeks ago as well. You when you look at what Baker's had, the best wide receiving core that he had was it OBJ and who else was on that team? Right? Was that Peoples Jones? Was that the number 2? Has he had a better wide receiver core that he has right now? Shyla, you asshole. I'm coming through this screen with the Adam Thielen pick in the 13th round. That is not allowed. He's supposed to be the 15th round pick, and I can get him in the 14th. Shiloh, I'm gonna be chatting with Shiloh in the mocking room. That's ridiculous. Just might need 2 rounds before it should happen.
He knows you.
Yes, he does. Nice pick. All right, you're coming up on the clock here. We're in the 13th round. What are you thinking? Are you just hammering running back the rest of the way?
It sure looks like it. Again, this area is just not fun to be in. Looking at it right now, I could hammer the running back spot. I like somebody here. I'm thinking he could come back. Let's see, what are we? Man, I'm gonna go ahead and risk it. There's a guy I like in the next round. We'll see if I get him. I'm gonna hammer another running back spot right here, and it's no shock. I've taken him before.
Right.
Yeah. Goal line. I've already talked about that. So now I've got 5 running backs, 4 if Joe Mixon doesn't work out. So now I feel I'm breathing a little bit easier now at the running back spot. I'll go ahead and say it. I'm hoping to get my wide receiver in the next round.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and shake the mock right here, and I'm going to go ahead and take the kicker. Because I do believe
that seems really aggressive. I know the scoring format.
Yep.
But
I also
round, you could probably get him in the 14th.
Sure, absolutely. But I also know that I'm looking at it trying to yes, I'm on Sleeper right now. We're currently mocking on Sleeper, but I think in the MFL drafts you're going to be looking at there's possibilities where the kickers are going. You're going to be stacking 2, 3, 4 kickers in MFL because you can play them in your flex spot in MFL. You got to remember that, in Sleeper, not only do we have to start one, we can only start one, right? In MFL, you don't have to start any, but you can start up to 4. So when you look at just the extra points alone, when you're looking at kickers, you definitely want to grab kickers that are not only on good teams, but they're going to score 3 times a game, 3 touchdowns a game. And there's very few teams that are going to score 3 touchdowns a game. That's 10 points right there. That's your floor, right? So I'm getting 3 points or 10 points just all. And that's better than what most wide receiver 3s are getting. That's better than what, your tight end 3s are getting.
But why not build your depth at wide receiver?
Again, because I'm getting 10 points compared to getting 7 points. Give me the 10 points. Again, we're going back to what I said earlier. And good evening, Jorge. I had threw his comment up there and took it right back off. But good evening, Jorge. Glad to see you in the chat. The thought process here is when you're looking at when it comes to the playoffs, like I said earlier, your average score for your weeks get added to it. If I'm adding 3 more points to my average score to my playoff weeks, that's what I got to have as many points there, right? And that's the thought process, because I could come right back and do the players that I was looking at
could still be here now.
Are still here. They're all still here, and I'm going to go ahead and take him right now, the wide receiver 2 in his own team, and that's Darnell Mooney. If Darnell Mooney is getting me 7 points a game on average, and then McPherson is getting me 10 points a game, and I'm taking Mooney over McPherson, no. That's where the ADP comes, or that's where your draft's got to come in, right? Your draft strategy's got to come in, and I'm surprised that he's the first one off the board with that philosophy of, basically you want to build it as a floor. What is my floor? And then I'll build from there. Because if they're going to average 3 touchdowns a game, that's 9.9 points. And then he gets a, whatever, call it a 15-yard field goal.
Yeah.
That's another 1.5.
So you're looking at your starting score versus
I'm looking
bench
at
depth.
at my floor.
Mhm.
I want to build the floor. I want to build from the
Okay.
floor up, right? So yes, I still want the spike weeks, but I want to at least know where my floor's at.
Fair enough.
So you went Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, I did. What do you think of that? And then
I don't hate it, especially now that
Okay.
now that you have you got Jordan Love earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I love getting the stack right there. I mean, I took Watson. I don't think that there is a for sure that Watson is the one, and there's that Dubs is not going to be the one, right? There's a real possibility that is that wide receiver 1 in Green Bay is up for grabs.
Yeah, and actually going into it, I didn't even look at it as a stack. I just really like Romeo Dobbs. I think he has a chance to double his production from last year.
Mm-hmm.
You
I mean,
know,
that
the
wouldn't be that
reports
hard.
are that he and Jordan Love are building a chemistry, which, a lot of people could say, oh, those are just words. It's just July talk. But, if you look at the practice reports, he's doing well. He scored a touchdown on Jair Alexander in practice. So if he keeps building on that, then there is no reason why he can't double his 425 yards from last year, 3 touchdowns, make it 6, make it 850 for the year. I don't see how that, and getting him at the 14th round, if I believe that, I'm gonna be aggressive and take him.
Yeah, and I don't hate it, but I do. If Jorge's still around, I do need you to get that drop for us because that is one that would definitely work a lot. Practice. We talking about practice?
Yeah, I know.
Practice.
I thought about it when I said it. Like AI right there.
Too bad one to hit that drop. Practice. No, I agree 100% with the Romeo Doubs, and like you said, in the 14th round, that is absolutely insane. Again, because he could be the wide receiver 1. Practice.
I know we're talking about practice here on Fantasy and Games.
In shorts. Let's see what Fantasy Zip says. I feel like there is at least 12 kickers who will average 12.
That is a fair point.
I don't know that that's true, and here's why I say this. Again, when you look at these kickers, right? It's 3.3 points for an extra point, right? Take that, stretch it out. That's 9.9. If you score 3 touchdowns a game, there's not many teams that score on the average 3 touchdowns a game. If you sit there, take the negative scoring out of it, that's fine. But if you sit there and because once it goes to just regular field goals, then it's just about yardage. Like you take Daniel Carlson from the Vegas Raiders. Okay, he hits a 40-yarder. It's still only 40. It's still only 4 points.
I was just sniped. That was my guy.
Dawson Knox or Tajay Spears?
Knox.
Okay. So I don't agree that there are 12 kickers who will average 12 points per game. Again, you're not.
Maybe not average.
Well, that's what he's saying here. And I don't believe that is true. And then he comes right back and says maybe 10 points. I don't know that there's going to be that many because, again, there's not that many teams that score on the average 3 touchdowns a game. And that's what you're going to have to, in order to average 10 points, you're going to have to average 3 touchdowns a game. Your offense is going to, right? And there's only a few of those. So that's where I get. That's, again, going back to my 13-10 pick. That's why Evan McPherson I am definitely on that because I do think Cincinnati is one of those teams that can score 3, 4, maybe 5 on a, it's going to be, they're going to average 3 for sure. Right. I don't have no qualms saying that they're going to average 3 touchdowns a game. All right, so here's
All
where
right,
I have a little bit of dilemma because there's a couple players that I like here, and I think I'm not sure which one I need to reach for first. They're all going to be reaches, but I definitely want to do it. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I just want a piece of this offense. So the piece that I want right now is going to be Jeff Wilson.
Okay.
I want a piece of the.
Now, would this change your opinion? Would you go Jeff Wilson there if Dalvin Cook was there? Yeah, good question.
Not. That's a great question. Probably not. Probably not.
So you would go your secondary route.
Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you what that route was because you're right behind me on the next pick.
Makes sense, which I need to start looking at.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been Leonard Fournette, but I'm not gonna tell you names.
Really?
No.
Oh, I know you're a Bucs fan, and he's no longer there, but
yeah. No, I went Jeff Wilson. Again, not with the Dalvin Cook stuff still being there, but the other pick was.
Gosh, I guess you could call it a snipe again. Hayden Hurst was my guy. I wanted Dawson Knox, couldn't get him. Now Hurst is gone. Oh man.
And I've said this multiple times tonight, and I think this is again a spot where I've got to throw a dart and what possibly could be, what could be, and it's going to be. I'm gonna throw a stack out here. Jalen Hyatt, rookie. Yes, I get it, but there's a possibility, a good possibility in that offense and with the Giants that that Dayball and Jalen Hyatt and Daniel Jones figure it out. Good possibility. And, we've all seen the video of, the Dallas coaches saying, you know what you are, And he just goes out there and just balls out. I have fallen in love with Jalen Hyatt, and I don't know that I can quit him in the 16th round. I think it's just too much, too good in the 16th round.
But he is a rookie, and how much playing time do you think he'll get
in that offense? Who else do they got?
Wandale.
Okay, who is coming off an injury?
Okay.
Who else?
I know it's just you're taking a rookie. You don't know what
in the 16th round.
But I mean, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
How many? Wait, I just want to let me scroll back up here. Oh wait, I'm not going to say you took a rookie, but Jamison Williams in the 10th, who's played 3 games. You took Joe Mixon, who never mind. We've talked.
We've already talked about that.
So you haven't taken any rookies, but in the 16th round, I don't mind. It's a dart throw.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Kenny Galladay is still alive. I don't know that he is, Scampers. Scampers, if you have pictures, let me see. I want to see the pictures. You email those, please. I want to see that Kenny Galladay is still alive. I know his money is still alive. I don't know that he is. At least in the Giants. Hodges and Slayton are still.
I just think I would have taken Wandale there over Jalen Hyatt.
Well, my question with Wandale is, again, it's the size.
Okay.
Getting lost in that, in gimmicky plays. I get it. We saw it with Deebo Samuels a couple years ago, but then we turned right around the following year and he kind of disappeared almost, right? Last year. Like he completely disappeared. He was not the same Deebo. And I get it. They didn't have the running game in San Francisco, but still the size, speed is what it is, but you get hit and it doesn't matter how fast you are, you get hit, you're done. And that's, I said, they'll look at Jalen Hyatt, 6'2", 6'3". Not only does he got the height, but he's got the speed. Stretch the field.
Yeah, and he's your
so many TVs are gonna be able to hang up with him.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah. He's your 6th receiver. So I mean, like you said, 16th round, it's a dart throw. Could be right, it could be wrong, but you know what? It's not going to hurt you too much.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather have Jalen Hyatt or Rashid Shaheed? Would you rather have Jalen Hyatt or Marvin Mims?
Yeah. Upside.
Those are the ones that went right behind him. You took Gallup, then Paris Campbell, Shaheed, Myers, Mims went all right behind him. I do love the DJ Chark there. God dang it. Busty Chuck is over there just he's throwing darts right back at me. Yeah. I like what Chuck's done. He's proven his you've proven your point, Chuck. You can go home now.
I do like what he did there.
Anthony says he likes Hodges a little better or a little later. He had a good red zone targets.
Yeah, I forgot about Hodgins. Yeah. You asked who they have? Hodgins.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Fantasy Zip brought up Hodgins and Slayton. They will start on the outside, and I don't know that Slayton will. Just I think from the reports that I have seen, from the reports that I have read, Hyatt is proven his worth, and I do like those reports. He likes Hodgins a little bit later. But he does have good red zone. But I think that's the other side, too, is, a 6'2", 6'3" wide receiver. You like him in the red zone as well. Give me those touchdowns. Give me those targets. At least give me targets. And I do like that. So you're on the clock here, 17th round. Where are you going?
That's what I was looking at. In the last 2 rounds, I've been trying to get a tight end, but I keep falling short of it with Dawson Knox, Hayden Hurst, not being able to capitalize on that. So I was wondering, thinking to myself, do I gamble again and take another position for depth and hope that the other tight end that I'm looking at falls to me in the 18th round? Or do I go ahead and just take him because I do like him, but I do think he's going to make it back. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. And, I just realized he's not there. All right. I was going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but sniped. So that's the tight end that I was looking at, Jelani Woods. I'm going to go ahead and take my tight end to finally be able to breathe with that tight end spot.
Yeah. Scampers, yes, I agree 100%. He is the biggest boomer bust rookie wide receiver. Gimmicky offense, I don't know. I think, what paid off for him was the Alabama game. But yes, it could pay off in the long run. Yes, and Hyatt does have jets. He's I don't know. I don't even know what he ran, but it was not slow. This part right here is where I'm like, okay, where am I at? There's a couple players that I like.
Guess what? You could take Wandale if you wanted to.
I know, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start hammering these running backs that I truly think have an opportunity. Look, Kenneth Gainwell is they did it with Miles Sanders last year. Kenneth Gainwell took a lot of the third down reps with the passing and all that. They brought in Swift. I still think the passing game when it comes to the running back is going to go through Gainwell. For whatever reason, they don't like Gainwell. But in the 17th round, they got to give it to him because he's on the team, right? And when he's on the team, you look at what he did last year. Every chance he got the ball is 9 yards, 9 yards, 9 yards. There's going to be and they've tried to replace this kid. They've tried to replace him multiple times, or I say tried to replace him. They've brought other players in. I just don't see him being able to do it. And I think he's just going to be that steady Eddie. You may only that's going to be the hard part's going to be is trying to figure out what weeks you're going to play him, right? But DeAndre Swift, sooner or later, is going to have a shoulder or something.
And when that happens, Kenny Gainwell is your guy, and you have Jalen Hurts. And he does pass to Kenny Gainwell. He's gotten some receiving touchdowns, so that's a nice little double up if you had to start him and you have that running back quarterback stack with a passing back.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to talk to Scott about this. I think at least for my teams, those need to be best ball teams. Everybody else can play, manage whatever. But I think for my teams, I should be able to do best ball. Like, you know what I mean? Like in my leagues, everybody else has to do their managing, and I just do best ball.
I respect that.
I mean, it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get my kicker too now. I don't like it because I would like to get a safer kicker because of the extra points being 3.3. I don't know how many touchdowns the Falcons will have, but he's a serviceable kicker. He's good. He's solid, And maybe the Falcons offense will look better with Bijan.
All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit more into the strategy, and we started to talk about this earlier. The original plan wasn't to do a draft; it was just to actually talk about it. But since we did the draft too, we talked about some of them. Throw some questions at you. With the no negative scoring, I think the position that helps the most is QB. Right? Are you willing to wait on QB now? And again, going back to Chuck's question, are you willing to wait on the QBs? And then does that help like the rookie QBs, like the Youngs, the Strouds, knowing that AR is coming off the board, like in that top, is as soon as a third in that top 15 QB or so. I don't even know what he went tonight in ours. I have to go back and look. But, does the negative scoring affect, first of all, what position does it affect the most in your mind? And then does it also help like Young and Stroud move up your board?
Yeah, I was thinking, looking at Chuck's team, and we questioned him early, and then all of a sudden we kind of like what he did with the Geno Smith and Desmond Ritter. I guess my question to you is, I would be interested to know how often does a Scott Fishbowl winner have two, say, top 15 quarterbacks? How often does that happen? Do you know the answer to that? Because that would be something to look up.
Yeah, I do not know the answer to that.
That would be something to look into.
Yeah.
I feel like
you got to remember too that Scott changes the scoring
every single year. Every year.
Right. So it's the reason he does that, I think, is first of all to make it fun. First, second of all to bring in different scoring, right? But again, you're talking about 3,000 plus at this point that are jumping into this tournament. And when if it's the same old, right? You got whatever it is, 275 divisions of 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you and I are like we are both drafting at the 4th position, it's very, very likely that you and I are going to end up with, out of 22 rounds, 8 of the same players. It's very, very likely when it comes down to it. So, again, you have to differentiate yourself, and I think that's what the scoring does, right? So you have to change the scoring up in order to make sure that you're not going to be able to sit, or you're not going to be able to just draft one way, right? You're going to have 12 people drafting 12 different ways in 275 different leagues.
That's true. That is true. I didn't think about that.
Ben says he's made the SFB finals in 2 of the last 3 years. Congratulations, Ben. Waited on QB 1 year, even riding only golf the majority of the season.
So it can be done.
It can be done. Shooting for a lot of upside in rookies late has been the strategy. Hoping teams get stronger going into the playoffs, which is what I was saying earlier. You take like a Kenneth Walker from last year. You take like a Brian Robinson from last year. You drafted them and didn't even start them, right? But you drafted them in like the 11th, 12th, 13th round. Didn't start them until later in the year, and that differentiated you from the other teams that you were playing against. Because at that point you're playing against, I think it's 10% every week of the playoffs. It drops 10% of the leagues out. So great pick by Josh Downs right there. I was looking at that as well. You sorry dog.
Glad I could do something.
Right. Man.
So now what are you thinking?
I'm looking at running back and I'm like, God dang, I should have grabbed another one before, but I didn't. That's okay. I would listen, at this point, I'm just gonna punt on the rest of the running backs. I got 4 of them. I'm comfortable there. At least for now. I will be hitting the waiver wire as soon as it opens for running backs. When somebody has to go and get Somebody's gonna have to drop one soon, and I will go then and grab one. Good Lord, this board looks horrible at this point.
Yeah, it does.
All right, I'm just gonna throw another dart.
That's all it is dart 3.
Well, I'm throwing a dart right here because I think that if there is a wide receiver in Indianapolis that is going to be a target hog down the field, and at 19th round, Alec Pierce.
You can't argue that.
Nah,
I mean, we're deep in the draft right now. Pretty much any pick you make, it is what it is at this point, right?
yeah, I think at this point you're shooting upside, but
Upside.
you've got to make the argument in your head on why, right? So is there a week where Alec Pierce, in my mind, can be, and can I figure out which week that's going to be? Well, I'm not going to figure it out week 1, week 2, week 3. It's going to be week 7, week 8. I'm going to have to see what him and A-Rich get going. And I do believe this. I do believe it's a great fit for A-Rich. That is something that I do believe. Being a Gator fan, I watched a lot of what A-Rich does. And if he puts the air into the ball, Alec Pierce can run underneath it. I also love the Josh Downs because I think that's going to be somebody he can rely on if they build the chemistry, right? It's going to be a big thing with chemistry with him and Josh Downs. Also an immediate replacement for Pittman if he ever goes down. Absolutely. 100%. All right, so this is another dart throw right here. And somebody in gosh dang New England's got to catch it, right? Somebody's got to catch one.
Yeah, and this next pick here is for Nate. I think Nate likes him, and I like him this late too. I really do. Keontae Ingram, running back 2 there in Arizona. I'm not too happy with the offense, but I mean we're talking 20th round. Something, James Conner is always banged up. Seems like every year. He does get banged up. Well, there you go. There's my Joe Mixon replacement.
I don't know if it's Joe Mixon replacement, but okay. Hey,
I had to
on the same team.
Say that again, Joe Mixon. I'm getting bashed over it, and I'm starting to believe it.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. Yeah, my issue right now with my team is the running back position.
Your weakness?
No, it's definitely a weakness, but it's also an issue because I know, I've talked about this multiple times. The points per carry is going to matter. It's going to matter, and I think having depth at running back is going to be a determining factor. I don't know that there's going to be many teams that are going to have, 3 or 4 top 24 running backs, right? When it's all said and done. Yeah, there's one team right now, call it, look at Chuck's the first 3 rounds. You can sit there and say, yes, he's got 3 top 24 running backs right now. But at the end of the year, that 2 of those may not be, right? So, but then you're going to see somebody, and I'm just going to throw a name out here, but you'll see somebody like a Pierre Strong or a Chuba Hubbard or a Deuce Vaughn or a Gus Edwards pop into that top 24, which is very possible. I want to be able to have 2 top 14, top 15 running backs in this format.
So with what you have right now, and say week 1 comes and you're looking at it and you're like, okay, this is not as good as I thought. Are you going to be aggressive in that first waiver wire with your fab?
That's a great question because, when you think about it, what is it, 13 regular season weeks? So it's not like you can't sit on your hands for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? And okay, let this play out. Let this play out. That's just not going to work, right? If you're going to make a deep run, you have to be aggressive, right? But you have to be aggressive and smart, Because I don't think going out there in week one and going, I think what is it, $100 fab. I don't think going out there and throwing $25-30 at a backup is going to be the right move, unless there is a backup out there that had a little bit, even if it was 15%, 20%.
Like a Josh Jacobs going down for the season, and now you got Zamir White sitting out there.
So if you sit there, I'll just throw this out there for an example. Let's say, and I'm gonna see if I can figure out here. I want to see if this player got picked right quick. Oh, I'm on the clock. Let's go here. I'm gonna assume he did. Did Algiers get picked? I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay. So for instance, I'll use Algiers since he's off the board. Let's say Bijan Robinson gets, 69% of the snaps. Cordell Patterson gets, 10%. Algiers gets 16%, but he's, maybe he's on the waiver for some reason, right? If they got 15+% in week one, you know what? Let's go get a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a running back, there is the chance. But I'm not going to go out there and overspend on a Joshua Kelly that didn't even see the field in week one.
So you'll be smart with your money. You'll be aggressive but smart.
Well, yeah, you got to be. Yeah. You have to be aggressive, right? You have to be,
but not overly aggressive.
Correct.
Right.
Again, going back to it's only 13 weeks. It's not that normal 16 weeks or 15 weeks. And it doesn't sound like much, but 2 less weeks to be able to play with, that's pretty damn big deal. Mm-hmm. At least the way I think about it. Wait a damn minute. God dang it, Ben Evie. Like, how did Malik Davis get off the board and I didn't get to him? No wonder I had to go get Sean Tucker. EB got me. Well, snipe me. Oh, my Lord. Yes, I really wanted to go running back right there, but not going to happen. Golly, how do you pass? No, I can't do that. Man. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go ahead and snag this guy. You saw what him and Derek Carr did. I appreciate you. You saw what him and Derek Carr did a little bit last year, and now they're both in New Orleans. He's healthy, it seems, anyway. And I'll go ahead and snag my 74th tight end right here with this scoring. I like it. You and Michael Carter. He's like the 16th on the on the depth chart there.
No, that's not fair. It's the last round. I mean, what could I have done if I was looking at running back, which is my weakest position? What running back would you say? Maybe Chandler, but you got Alexander Madison there. We don't know what he's going to do. You just talked about Cordell Patterson. What, 15% of the carries you're estimating? How healthy is Breece Hall? If he's not healthy, then Michael Carter's going to see a good share of the carries with the rookie.
No, I'm just giving you a hard. There is the best pick of the draft. If he was a starter with this scoring, and that is Jameis Winston going in 22-7. Nice job there. Who's that? Charlotte. Yeah, good job, Charlotte. Ben Eby, you were just killing me all night long. Jorge says, be aggressive. Be aggressive. You need to go ahead and get that as a drop as well, sir. That would be great. Don't do that. No, I tell him to get a drop and he will go get it. And next thing I'll know, we'll have 25 drops in there and we'll use none of them. All right, we're coming down to this last 2 picks right here. I don't want to stay on all night, but we talked about Deli at the 2 spot there earlier. At least for his first 8, 9 picks or so, maybe 11 picks. We really liked his. Let's talk about your team real quick. With the let's see if I can pull this up. Let's go here. So you went Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs right away. Got your stack. George Kittle was your 3-9. Tua Tagovailoa, and then Amari Cooper. Let's talk about your first 5 picks to start with. I mean, 11 the stack. Getting George Kittle and then Tua could be a top 7, 8 QB.
Yeah, if he's healthy. Yeah, that's the only question is if Tua can stay healthy. If he can, I mean, the sky's the limit with Tua and those weapons that he has in Miami. And that's one reason why I went there in the 4th round was to take my QB2 because his upside with those receivers is just if the only question is health, 4th round, I'm going to take that chance.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. And then you wrap that 5th round up with Amari Cooper there, wide receiver 1 there in Cleveland. And then
here's where the wheels fell off.
And then
that's pick.
Exactly. That's
right?
where the wheels fell off. So that's why I stopped it at 5.
Makes sense.
No,
but you like the Jerry Jeudy pick as well. You get another number 1 there to round out the wide receiver core as the starting 3.
Yes, no, and I do like the Joe Mixon pick if he stays on the field. The problem is we don't know, right? The questions of the unknown. But I mean, you could say that about a bunch of these players right now. But just all the off the field stuff with Mixon. And then again, like I said, 40% of his points last year came in 1 game. So that's the only thing. But I mean, he's still. I mean, they didn't bring. They brought in Chase, and that's it. They didn't bring anybody else, and they let B. Ryan go, who was a huge part last year when he wasn't able to be on the field. Which one of these teams do you want to talk about at the end? Do you want to talk about the wide receiver heavy or the running back heavy right away?
I don't know. You choose.
Let's talk about. I mean, we've been talking about Chuck's a good bit tonight. Let's go right here to the 11th spot where he went Chase up and Lamb to start off with, came right back around in the 4 and 5 round, or 4th and 5th round rather, and got Rodgers and Wilson. I mean, the start alone is, I mean, you've got quite possibly 3 of the top, 9, 7 wide receivers in the game.
Yeah. So looking at those, let's look at the first 5 picks.
Mm-hmm.
You got to like the 11 hole there better than the 12, right? The 3 receivers versus his 3 running backs with the 2 quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, that's a great comparison with them going back to back, because then you turn around and you've got Taylor, Barkley, Chubb, Waller, and Geno Smith at the 12 spot. But then, depending on how you value the points per carry.
Yeah,
right?
it's funny how
one
went receiver, and the other guy went running back. And
right,
then
you look
the other guy went receiver, he went running back.
Barkley and Taylor.
Wild how that happened with those 2, 11 and 12.
Barkley and Taylor are both pass catchers as well. So, yeah, granted, Taylor's got to deal with a rookie quarterback and a rushing rookie quarterback as well. But I mean, dude, I could see viability in both of these, at least for the first 5 picks for both of these teams.
I mean, looking at it, projecting it out, I think those 2 would be the favorites to win this mock draft division if we were in one.
Whoa! Did you not
they
look
would be
at
favorites too?
Did you not look at my draft? Whoa! Slow down. No, you know what? That's what you got to look at too. Is here it is. Boom. You got to look at the volume, and it's going to be in the running back. And I think, as much as I want to believe in the wide receiver here with these 3 wide receivers, with it being Chase, Kupp, and Lamb, I don't know that you can deny Taylor, Barkley, Chubb.
Yeah, because they're like 50 carries between the 3 of them, right?
A week?
Yeah, more, maybe even more. Yeah. But at least 50 between the 3.
Yeah, and probably 20-ish targets
Mm-hmm.
between the three. I mean, Chubb's not going to get as many targets. Don't get me wrong. But Barkley is probably going to get 6 targets a game. Taylor's probably going to get, not 6 or so. So call it 12 targets. Call it 12 targets, but they're going to get the attempts. So, and yes, the stud wide receivers, are, but in this scoring format, I don't know that the stud wide receivers matter as much as the stud running backs, right? And again, that's going back to, where you and I are picking from 4 next week. We may have to revisit this whole, are we looking at wide receiver in round 2, or are we going to try to get that Derrick Henry, that Najee Harris, or somebody that's going to get all that volume?
I totally agree. Looking at that and the points per carry that you get, I might have to mock it out with going heavier running back than I do. Get out of that mindset of redraft of running back because I like to go receiver. Maybe I need to just try seeing what it looks like. Give myself a minute to think about the running backs, give it a chance and see what it looks like. Because it does, in the scoring format, that could be crucial.
All right. So what you're saying, what you just told me is today is Monday. Mm-hmm. Starting tomorrow, which is a holiday, by the way. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to the USA. Starting tomorrow, between tomorrow and Friday.
I'll be in one of your mocks, and I'll go running backs.
One? You'll be in way more than one. You'll be up there on the plane like, pilot, I need more Wi-Fi. I need more Wi-Fi. No.
I chilled out the last couple of days, giving everybody a fair chance. I chilled out.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Get in there as soon as you can because they fill up. They fill up quickly.
They do.
We did about 15 today alone. So, we crushed a bunch today. Guys, everybody, Kelly, G Money, Fantasy Zip, Shia, Fish Bags, D Ben, Ben Eby, Caterator, Chuck, we picked on you a good bit tonight, but you had a bomb-ass team. Great job. And Elf, thank you all for joining us in the draft. Kyle, tell the good people what you got going on. Let's get the hell out of here.
I got some player profiles coming up here on Fantasy in Frames. I have DJ Moore coming out soon. That should be published very soon. Jamal Williams coming up on Fantasy in Frames. I'm going to do that. Hopefully I'll have that done in the next couple of weeks. So check that out on Fantasy and Frames, and you can always check me out on Twitter at KZ1180.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't forget to be subscribed to the Fantasy and Frames family. All you got to do is go over to @Fantasy and Frames on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe here. Make sure you hit a like. If you haven't already hit the like, I don't know what you're doing. Hit that like button on your way out. Thank you all for joining us. Please. We have our Wednesday night shows. We have the shoot the gap on Thursday nights, Dynasty 365 on Wednesday, 4th and Frames is on Wednesday. We have some great guests coming up this next few weeks. We have the Scott Fishbowl stuff still going on. Make sure you check out the website for the ADP. There is a printable version for the ADP, especially for you guys that are going to the live guys and gals that are going to live drafts. You can go over to the website. There is a printable version of it on there. I'm not sure when it's been last updated. We've done 180, 190 mocks at this point. I know Tyler is giving me hell every time I drop another mock. He's like, damn it, you're making me work. Listen, that's what I do.
If you're looking for ADPs, I've been putting them out on Twitter on KZ1180. I'm going through every day. I'm doing 12 picks a day leading up to the draft on Saturday. So I'll have roughly 72 right now. So if you check out my Twitter at KZ1180, I have 72 ranked right now on my ADPs for the Scott Fishbowl. Go ahead and check it out. I'll finish it out with the 120 here in the next couple of days.
Are you pulling those from the drafts that we're doing?
I'm based those rankings on Twitter are my personal rankings, what I think. So feel free to reach out to me, tell me what you think of my rankings. They're basically mine. I'm going to be using those for the
So-
Scott Fish Bowl on
what you're-
Saturday. And I'll tell you right now, my number one is Travis Kelce. So I know it's already starting out kind of hot, but that is my number one overall in the Scott Fish Bowl.
We don't even need to know where Joe Mixon is in that mix. He's got to be in that top 60. But we're gonna leave that alone for you because you've got beat up enough about that tonight. Guys, for Kyle, for me, make sure you're following all of us over there at Fantasy and Frames. Kyle at KZ1180, me at FantasyJ77. Have a great night. Thank you all for joining us. We will see y'all next time.